they always said I'm wrong, but what they doing today? I think they want me gone, but I ain't going away. They told me I was wrong, but look at my ass today. Da 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 da.
Yo guys, what's going on? I'm Tim along with Justin for the NFL Final Score on the Real Sports Talk Network, as we do here every Sunday. This is the 1 o'clock edition, and last week Justin was pissed over the Chargers loss. This week, as usual, the Eagles lose, and I'm pissed. We'll get to that in a little bit, though. Justin, let's begin with the Buccaneers and the Chiefs.
Like you said, we're going to go right into the Buccaneers and the Chiefs game. If you guys remember back last week, the Kansas City, I don't know why I said Boston there, the Kansas City Chiefs lost quarterback Matt Castle to an injury, and he did not make the trip to Tampa Bay, so they gave the ball over to Brady Quinn. Brady Quinn, a lot of people on Twitter are saying, oh, it's the Brady Quinn era now in Kansas City. I don't see it. Brady Quinn has not been as he was since college. And Brady Quinn today, 22 for 38, 180 yards, 2 interceptions. Now going over to Josh Freeman and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Josh Freeman had a huge game, 15 for 26, 328 passing yards with 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Now, I'm going to go into a little bit of a story here for a second about the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs fans, I'm not going to bash on you guys a whole lot, but you know what? You guys did not improve anything on the defensive side of the ball. The offensive side, on paper, it sounds good. Jamal Charles, Peyton Hills, but Peyton Hills has not been as good as he's been since the first season he was with Cleveland. Now, you guys this year are, what, 2-4, or you guys are 1-15, tied with the Raiders now. Something has got to get going for you Kansas City Chiefs fans if you're going to try and compete with the AFC West. The Buccaneers are 2-3 on the year, and this team is going to be an up-and-coming team. They are 2-3. I can see a massive improvement in the coming weeks, man.
Yeah, Josh Freeman looked really impressive today, as you mentioned. Brady Quinn did not. The next game, the Falcons defeated the Raiders 23-20. This is a game where it was an atrocious first half for the Falcons. Matt Ryan threw 3 interceptions. Carson Palmer and Darren McFadden looked solid. But late in this game, Matty Ice puts them in position, as he seems to every week when they're in the Georgia Dome. He puts them in position. Matt Bryant nails down the 55-yard field goal. And Justin, the Falcons are now 6-0. Are they the best team in the NFC right now?
Yes, I agree with 100%. Today, Matt Ryan did not show the full potential. This guy is right now, in my opinion, the NFL MVP right now. You can also look at another guy in the NFC, and Purdy is what everybody's saying, but I'm not living up to that. But that's just your guys' opinion. But Matt Ryan, in my eyes, right now is still the NFL MVP. This guy is having a great season. And you know what? Throughout this whole game, the Oakland Raiders were taking over until, like you said, Tim, Matt Ryan, Matty Ice just got back into groove and pulled out a victory with Matt Bryant kicking a 55-yard field goal to get a 23-20 victory over the Oakland Raiders.
And that's how you tell a great quarterback is one that can put the first half struggles aside, and when it counts, he can lead them back to an important win.
No doubt. Matt Ryan, this guy is an excellent quarterback. The guy can run down the pocket, extends the plays. That's what a quarterback would like to do, kind of like what Michael Vick does. And this is what a quarterback needs. We just have to hope that the Atlanta Falcons can continue the much progress that they have made over the past couple of weeks. They've got to really show it in the playoffs, and we'll just have to wait and see. I just hope that the Atlanta Falcons just don't get kicked out of the playoffs in the first round. This is a team with excellent talent around them. Matt Ryan, Roddy White, Michael Turner. I mean, those guys, this is like an all-star team right here.
Yeah, no question.
All right, now we got the Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals. This was probably the upset of the week. I was really high on the Cincinnati Bengals going into this season. I thought this team could have a total repeat of what they had last year. Andy Dalton, A.J. Green, too, a great wide receiver quarterback tandem right there. But today they lost to the Cleveland Browns. Tim, this has to be the upset of the week. I mean, we never thought that the Cleveland Browns would actually pull off a victory because Cincinnati, with what they have around them, this should have been just an easy win. They should have been 4-2 right now, but they end up 3-3. Andy Dalton in this game, 31 for 46, 381 passing yards with 3 touchdowns. The 3 interceptions which really killed the Cincinnati Bengals. When you go over to the Cleveland Browns, 17 for 29 were for Brandon Whedon with 2 touchdowns and an interception. Tim, do you think the Bengals can possibly, at 3-3 right now, really can make the playoffs in this really tough division?
Yeah, I think they can because the Browns actually haven't been that bad, but they're not in contention. And the Ravens are certainly going to be right there, but the Steelers haven't impressed anyone really so far this season either. So they're going to be a team that can compete for the playoffs. I don't know if they'll make them because they haven't impressed me, but if they can get hot, I mean, Andy Dalton had a good game today, except for those 3 interceptions. 381 yards is solid. The problem was those 3 interceptions, as you mentioned, they really killed them. And the Browns actually, since week 1 of Brandon Whedon throwing 4 interceptions, they actually have not looked that bad. They get their first win today, so that's a young up-and-coming team. We'll see where they go from here. The Dolphins get a 17-14 win over the Rams, who cannot come back late. Despite Sam Bradford outplaying Ryan Tannehill pretty much the whole game, the Rams were down. They got it to 17-14, and they just could not come close enough to pull out the win.
Next up, we got the Indianapolis Colts at the New York Jets. This game was actually not really as entertaining as it was led up to be. The Indianapolis Colts lose 9-35. Chuck Pagano, I mean, I feel really bad for this guy. The guy's a great head coach, and the Colts are just playing their hearts out for the guy. But you know what? In this game, the Jets just took over. They went 35-9 in a game which really was not really. On the Jets side, it wasn't really of a passing type of game. Sean Green had a big game, 32 rushing attempts, 161 rushing yards for 3 touchdowns. Vic Ballard got the start for the Indianapolis Colts today. I think this was his first ever start in the NFL. 8 rushing attempts for 25 yards. Now, when you look at the quarterbacks, Tim Tebow only got 1 completion. He was 1 for 1 with 23 yards. And Mark Sanchez, as usual, 11 for 18 for 82 yards and 2 touchdowns. Andrew Luck on the Indianapolis Colts, 22 for 44, having a huge game. No touchdowns with 2 interceptions. The Colts are now 2-3 on the year, Tim. This team has second place considerations. I know that the Houston Texans, this division's already been named for the Houston Texans for the years to come now. But do you think that the Indianapolis Colts can get back on track?
I think that they're going to be a much better team than we thought at the beginning of the year. Andrew Luck really has been the real deal, and I'm surprised he's been this good, this quick. I'm not sure exactly where the Colts finished. It's probably a 6 or 7 win team, but that's higher than what I had them as a 3 or 4 win team coming into this year. The Jets showed that flash again today. Sean Green, 161 yards. He looked like Sean Green from Iowa today. Unfortunately, Mark Sanchez really didn't help his case at all today. Tim Tebow did. He had that one fake punt where he threw a 23-yard pass. He looks good when he's mixed in on special teams, when he's put in as a running back. That's when he looks good. When you drop him back there for 20 or 30 throws, he's really not a very good quarterback. But you know what, at this point, he probably will be the starter at some point this year because Mark Sanchez really hasn't done anything to make you need to keep Mark Sanchez in there. So if Tim Tebow continues to look good in the smaller packages that they throw him in, then maybe they'll decide to make him the starting quarterback. I mean, I don't think it's going to amount to anything, but at this point, what the hell? What do you have to lose? Darrelle Revis and Santonio Holmes are out for the year. Probably not making the playoffs. Mark Sanchez has had enough years to prove that he can do it, and he hasn't done that at this point. So if Tim Tebow's in there, I can't really complain, but I am going to point it out when he doesn't do well, and all the Tebow, whatever you want to call him, the Tebow fanboys start hopping on his bandwagon again, and you see Tebow time trending on Twitter in the first quarter, that's when I'm going to be pissed. But whatever. The Baltimore Ravens get a 31-29 win today. Justin, this was a really good game. The Ravens are up 31-23. The Cowboys scored a touchdown on a good pass from Tony Romo. They get that touchdown to Des Bryant. And then they try and go back to tie the game on a 2-point conversion. They try to go back to Des Bryant. That doesn't work. But then they're able to, down 31-29, recover an onside kick. They get into decent field position, but then they lose it on some penalties. Dan Bailey sets up for a 50-plus yard field goal and misses it. The Ravens improve to 5-1, and people can say all they want that Tony Romo isn't clutch, but really today was not his fault.
Yeah, I agree on a little bit of that, but you know what? I almost said Tim Tebow there. Tony Romo is a good quarterback. I like Romo. he has good commanding. He's just a good quarterback overall. But you know, there are some times where he's just not good in the clutch. Kind of reminds me of Phillip Rivers. If it's like a 4th down and 10, Phillip Rivers just stands there and just either fumbles the ball or gets hit from behind. He just doesn't move out of the pocket or anything. But today, Tony Romo played out of his mind. 25 for 36, 261 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception. As Joe Flacco, who still considers himself as the best quarterback in the NFL, 17 for 26, 234 yards. You really want to look at in this game, who you want to give the most props to in this game has got to be DeMarco Murray. This guy also, with Tony Romo, played out of his mind. When you look at this, once I pull up his stats, Des Bryant today, 10 receptions for 70 yards and 2 big touchdowns. But in the end, and Dan Bailey, I mean, it was a far kick. I mean, I never thought that Dan Bailey was that good of a kicker. But, you know, I had to give him props for putting forth the effort. But the Baltimore Ravens pick up the victory 31-29, man.
Yeah, Dan Bailey is not very accurate at times, but he has a very strong leg. So if there was anyone you want to see have that deep of a kick, it would have been him. Unfortunately, he does not hit that kick today, and they aren't able to get the win. Justin, how about you introduce that last game, because I got to get my rant ready.
All right, guys. You guys remember last week I went on a full-on rant on Sunday Night Football. It was like, what? It was Tim's birthday. I went on a full-on. I had viewer discretion advised. I got a lot of people getting all happy and everything on how well I did. I really appreciate your guys' nice comments about my rant. But the Philadelphia Eagles lose to the Detroit Lions. I know Tim does not like to hear that. 26-23 in overtime. Poor clock management. Is it poor defense? Lions come back from a 10-point deficit. Tim, I want to turn it over to you. I don't want to take full command of this video because I know you have a very entertaining rant you like to please us with. So, Tim, I want to hand it over to you. Let's hear that rant, my friend.
I mean, early in this game, the Eagles did not look good. They snapped the ball over Michael Vick's head. Michael Vick has made a lot of turnovers, but that fumble was not his fault. Then he throws a stupid interception, which was his fault. He threw another interception in the second half. I mean, all the people asking for Nick Foles at this point, I don't know if Nick Foles is going to do anything special, but Michael Vick is getting to the point where he continues to turn the ball over, and he just does not deserve to be the starter. That being said, though, the offensive line has been so bad this season, he's not getting enough of a chance to drop in the pocket like you see some of the elite quarterbacks do. Michael Vick does not get that chance to drop in the pocket because the offensive line is collapsing on him. He's having to go to 2- and 3-step drops instead of 4- and 5-step drops where he's able to look around. And for a small quarterback, that's huge because it takes you longer to see over the line and see who's open, especially on the shorter intermediate routes rather than the deep routes where it's a lot easier to see someone open because they're farther away. On the shorter ones where you have the huge lineman in front of you, it takes a little longer to see. So I'll give him a little bit of a pass because of how the offensive line has done. But if they go into their bye week this week, if Nick Foles ends up the starter after today, I can't really complain. I've seen a few Eagles reporters say it seems like it's a funeral in the locker room. The reason why, the Eagles are up 23-13. Jeremy Maclin scores a big touchdown. Seems like the game's over. All of a sudden, the Lions come back. Nate Burleson scores a touchdown, and it's a 3-point game. The Eagles get the ball back. Andy Reid decides to throw it and then do one running play. Just horrible clock management. They waste about 45 seconds off the clock, give the ball back to the Lions, who get back into field goal range. They had a chance to win the game in regulation. Matt Stafford couldn't hook up with Burleson or Calvin Johnson, and in the end, Jason Hanson comes on, kicks the field goal to tie the game, send it to overtime. Then the Eagles get the ball, and they decide that close to their own end zone, they're just going to drop back and try and throw these deep routes, even though all day they haven't been open. All season, the last 2 years, Deshaun Jackson hasn't been getting open, and Michael Vick has sacked the first 2 plays, and then he just has to throw it away after the second play. Or on third down, I should say. The Lions end up getting the ball. Jason Hanson kicks a field goal. You know, and I want to scream and be pissed and say I'm surprised by this, but quite honestly, it's the same old thing with Andy Reid. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. It doesn't matter who the running back is. Poor clock management. I mean, I've just seen enough of the same old thing. I don't know what else to say anymore. I expect this from the Eagles. They're 3-3 now, and it feels like they're 0-6, to be quite honest. That's what we got for you guys this week on the NFL Final Score. I'm Tim. He's Justin. We'll see you at 4:15 or at 7 o'clock or whenever the game's end to do the 4:15 edition.